It's where spectacular real estate properties meet amazing wine.
It's fine wines and great designs on BNN Bloomberg 1410 AM, 103.5 FM HD3.
A new open house concept for the discerning buyer.
Join us as we take you on an epic and unique journey through the Lower Mainland's most amazing properties. Available for sale on the market with Realtor Mitch Drew of the RE/MAX Collection.
And add in fabulous wines, and you've got fine wines and great designs.
Now here's your host, Joe Leary.
And we say welcome to our premiere episode of Fine Wines and Great Designs, a brand new concept in both real estate, wines, and radio broadcasting that brings together spectacular wine and fine properties. I'm Joe Leary along with Mitch Drew from RE/MAX Pro Group. Mitch Drew, RE/MAX at Gmail is the contact. Mitch, first of all, nice to see you, my friend.
Thank you.
And I'm going to call this the full disclosure show because every voice you're going to hear on this show today, I do have some kind of friendship with. And I think it's important as we launch something new in broadcasting, it's important that you bring together like-minded people that have a commonality. And that commonality is we like to promote whatever we're involved in because we have passion for what we do. Mm-hmm. You, I've known for a good long time. You're a radio guy, a broadcast guy, an advertising guy. Now you're in real estate. So when I first thought of this concept, I thought, okay, how can I find a way to pair fine wine, great design? The wines will be provided by Cavallo Wines on 22nd Avenue in Surrey, cavallonapa.com. Mitch, you're going to find some wine today that I guarantee, and I think you enjoy a glass of wine here or there.
I have before.
You have before, so I've heard.
And I may again.
I think you're going to find wines that will blow your mind, and when you find out that they're actually produced in Surrey using Napa grapes, this, for all intended purposes, is a Napa winery in our province, in our Lower Mainland area. That's the fine wine part. The great design part is where you come in. And again, you've got a beautiful home that we're broadcasting the show from, located at 4775 Blenheim. I'm going to spell it because I think about this. We take it for granted because we've lived in this territory for a long time. Mm-hmm. But if you don't know Blenheim, how would you begin to spell Blenheim? Blenheim. And you can go to 4775blenheim.ca to view the property we're in. So before we get into this specific property, tell me, what did COVID do for the real estate market? Did it help it or did it kill it?
Well, it didn't really kill it. It just really changed the dynamic, Joe. And by the way, thank you very much for having me on the show today. It's, I was very thrilled to have the conversation with you. I think it's very important to combine experience. I know when I show this house, it's a 5 million plus home. It has every feature you can imagine known to man, automation, melee, everything you could, saunas and hot tubs. We'll talk about that later. But it's really about the experience of being here that's important. So we'll get to that in a second. But to talk a little bit about what COVID's done, certainly real estate has remained a essential service, which it actually is. For example, I have a couple of families that are moving. Their children are registered in another school. They're going to be starting in September if things open, but they're moving. They have to move in August, which means they have to sell today and buy a new place, and it really is an essential service. So I was very thankful that it remained that way. We did shut down open houses. It's been mask, glove, health disclosures, almost like you make a reservation like you make at a restaurant if you want to come into. I know the showings that we've had here are we're very controlled. We want to make sure that the people are serious, that they're qualified, that they're not just coming in to have a look at a $5 million house. So other than that, it's actually done really well. I think that the negative part of it is because there's very little inventory on the market because two reasons. One is that just the slowdown of the COVID. Secondly, there are people that just don't feel comfortable having strangers in their home. So that's reduced a lot of the inventory. The downside to that is real estate is a very visceral kind of personal product that people buy. They like to look at a lot of property because they're waiting for that magic, that tingle, And when there's limited inventory and the limited inventory that's good is moving quickly, it's just kind of messing a little bit with the chi, I guess, or the vibe, or the way that people tend to buy real estate. If they do see something that they like, and I know when I've been with buyers, and I've bought a couple homes with some buyers over the last couple of weeks, I literally have to say to them, look, if this is pretty close, then let's have a look at it. If it checks off most of the boxes, whereas before there'd be 7 or 8 to look at, and you'd have a lot to compare it with. I've got a home in South Delta right now that there's really only 2 or 3 other comparable types of homes. So that's really where COVID's changed things. So,
well, I think it's important that some of us grew up old school, and I think you're allowed to hang on to some of your old school roots. I still prefer to grocery shop in person. I want to see the piece of fruit or vegetables that I'm buying as opposed to seeing a little box online and ticking it and having it delivered. But, for example, my most recent car, I've been dealing with Brian Jessel BMW for a number of years. My current car is a 2018. I have a relationship with the salesperson that I deal with, Valentina, and I didn't even go and test drive this car. I basically, it's time for a new one. I said, Val, what do you got? He sends me pictures. So I'm literally going, yep, let's do it, right? But I have there's a degree of trust there. In the world of homes, and again, I'm sure that people can look at something online, but if I'm going to spend $3, $4, $5 million thereabouts, I think I want to walk through it and see how does it lay out.
Even $700,000 or $500,000 for a condo, Joe. I always say to people, you've got to get inside. You can't look at the pictures. I mean, we're professionals. We present real estate in its best light, so we take great shots and great videos, and we obviously promote the value of the product. But one thing I've said, I've been in real estate now almost over 4 years, and I've always said that you've got to get in the houses. You've got to get in the house. You got to get in feel. Look what the bathrooms are like. Look what it's like. This experience we're in now. We're on the main floor of the house here, down in the on the main the basement, the lower floor, which has the bar and the wet bar.
So in modern day vernacular, I might say this would be my man cave-ish area, but I don't. What in these kind of properties? What do you refer to this area as?
Well, it's actually called technically below main. That's what they call it. Yeah, it's below main.
But it does it a disservice.
No, this is, I don't need, I mean, can we talk about the house now? Can we kick into that? Okay, absolutely. Well, let's, because I start the tour down here, right? I start the tour at the bottom. This is this 3-story house with a 1,200 square foot rooftop deck. But I always start the tour down here. In fact, I control the tour of this house because it's a very detailed home with a lot of features and benefits. Just like I know Frank's going to be coming up later on the show, and in the light conversation we had before the recording today, he started talking about his wines. It's a very detailed presentation. It's not just I'm opening up a bottle of wine.
And right? I would be willing to bet Frank will start us off with this wine, and he'll work his way up to that wine.
Exactly.
That's staging. That's called staging, correct?
And that's what we do here. We start in the basement, and I basically say to the male, I say, you're going to come home from work and you're going to come into your spa. And in your spa, you've got a dry sauna that can also be a wet sauna. You've got a steam shower that's with double head steam shower. You've got some privacy here. You've got the bar set up here. If you want to pour yourself a cold beer, you've got beer storage. You've got the cold wine storage. One of the benefits of this floor here, the beginning floor here, is we've got the kind of a private media room with some glass. It's hard to explain, but everything's at the website 4775blenheim.ca. And there's also a beautiful video tour. And then I also have one of the other things we do is, in addition to the professionally shot video tour, this is something that COVID's done, I also shoot a 9-minute tour, the same tour I would give you if you were with me. In other words, I say, okay, welcome. We'll go through all the little details of the home and take you all the way from the beginning. So often we start in the basement here. We focus on this wonderful entertainment area down here where we've had when we opened up the listing for the first time, we had a friends and family and neighbor little get together down here, and with some charcuterie, a little bit of wine. We had some Barnside beer, and it was great. And we had 30-40 people down here, 34 people upstairs, and it was great.
Now, before we leave the entry-level point, let's remind this is a brand new radio concept called Fine Wines and Great Designs, broadcast on BNN Bloomberg Radio 1410 AM. Also available static-free and HD at 103.5 FM HD3. We're broadcasting the fine wines provided by Cavallo Winery in Surrey. We'll meet Frank Gigliotti, who is the president and winemaker for Cavallo, located at 19288 22nd Avenue in Surrey. CavalloNapa.com is the website. We'll also talk in the show to Harry Van Hemmen, who is the publisher of Boulevard Magazine. Again, friend of mine, beautiful high-end magazine that loves to showcase properties like this. Perhaps maybe a property like this down the road might be featured in one of the cover stories. And Mitch Drew, of course, you are with Remax Pro Group, Mitch Drew Remax at Gmail. Okay, now that I've gotten all the paperwork out of the way, now We're going to leave the ground floor,
Okay.
and we're going to make our way upstairs. What am I looking at?
Well, on the main floor, when you enter this home, is really quite amazing. Number one, if for anyone who lives on the west side and has driven along Blenheim, and Blenheim is a good access street because it runs from Marine Drive to 4th. Many of you will know that when you come over the crest as you're going north on Blenheim and you come over the crest at 33rd, you'll see a modern home that has a sheep out front. And the sheep actually has its own Instagram account. Okay, it's hashtag Vancouver Sheep House. Okay, so go to Vancouver Sheep House and you'll see the Instagram account, because what the owners of the house do is they've lived here. They rebuilt this house. Okay, tore the old one down. This is a brand new home. They have lived in the home, so there's no GST. There's my realtor coming out. But they have a sheep that they move around and they put hats on, and they had they kind of move around. People like to take pictures of the sheep. And anyway, so that's enough.
So it's known as the Sheep House.
Well, Vancouver Sheep House is what they call that because of the sheep out front. Okay. And people, when they come to open houses, often comment about the fact that when they're walking by, they like to look and see what's happening. But back to the main floor, you enter into the main floor, and you're looking at a very, very attractive open space. The kitchen living area as well as the dining room area is very large, and I know I took you up there. You've got beautiful, great finishings. You've got a wonderful kitchen that's set up with a large full-size freezer, full-size fridge. Of course, top-end appliances throughout, which, Joe, I was telling you when I was touring you the home, top-end appliances, that's not really I don't want to say it's not important.
It's kind of standard equipment.
Get it,
right?
okay?
Yeah,
it's like if I said to you, "Oh, Joe, you're getting a new BMW and it's got a radio in it.
It's got power windows.
You go like, I know everything over 50 grand does.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the thing is, we have all of the Crestron automation and the cameras and the security camera. You turn every light off in the house from one button. But what I think you're going to really notice when you come to the main floor of this house and you open that front door and you welcome your guests in to have dinner in your home, it's a very big open concept. There's a lot of efficiency in this home. There's wonderful features like the beautiful, marble above the fireplace. And one thing that I pointed out to you is a concept called a postless corner window. So to maximize the view, and we're at 93 meters above sea level here.
And it's a pretty spectacular view of certainly of the downtown skyline.
Yeah, you've got the downtown view. So the designer and the owners as well, when they decided to go with what's called a postless window. And you really have to see it online to understand what it means.
4775blenheim.ca.
That's the one. Thank you. So, and that postless window, we'll talk about it. It goes upstairs as well, too. So you've got, a really nice, presentable look out the front of the house. The kitchen is wonderful. There is a spice kitchen or a walk kitchen or a second kitchen that's kind of tucked into the behind. Nice dining area, some great lighting fixtures, a beautiful powder room on the main floor. And it's just a really comfortable place. And as I mentioned earlier, we've had realtor events here back before the COVID shutdown. Early in kind of February, we had 40, 50 people on that floor, and with great ease and great comfort. It's a wonderful home for entertaining.
So as we make our way up this property, and again, as you said, it's how many meters above sea level?
When you're on the top deck, you're about 93, 94 meters above sea level.
Okay.
So you're the last guy to get flooded in when the world ends.
And
you won't be worried about that.
Great way to look at it.
Sorry.
And the owners obviously have a very specific idea of how they wanted to design this home and everything from the lighting to the fixtures to the sheep to what have you. But I think once you get up to the roof, because I remember when you first told me about 4775 Blenheim, the first thing that you mentioned is wait till you see the rooftop deck.
Yes.
No, first of all, there's a couple of points of view. Number one is a spectacular vantage point of the downtown core. Number two, a lot of space.
Yes.
And everything from fridge to barbecue to speakers in rocks. And then there's the hot tub. And I can only imagine, because hot tubs mean different things to different people.
That's
to
correct.
me, it means good times.
Yeah.
It means a glass of wine, looking out on the city.
Well, you met the owners of the home here, and they're super nice people, and I've gotten to know them really well. And they do use the hot tub quite a bit. They, the kids go to bed, and they go up there, and that's kind of their time. And at night, the view here, because of course you're looking at the city all lit up, and on a clear evening, it's just a beautiful evening view. So they do use the hot tub. And some people don't prefer having hot tubs. We've had that conversation with a few people that have viewed the home that have just determined that they didn't want the hot tub, and that's fine. Different people like different things. But the rooftop deck is spectacular. It has a wonderful view.
So maybe I'd be a bad neighbor, Mitch, but if I was to buy this property,
yes,
I'd keep the hot tub. I'd probably put in a DJ booth and a little dance floor and hang some lights and maybe have a live act.
Well, it's funny because, and this is the thing about when you're a West Side realtor, it's, you deal with a lot of different demographics, right? And right away, you would think that you would obviously be dealing with a lot of Asian buyers, from mainland China and from Hong Kong buy into this area, and but at the same time, this is the type of home. It's very functional. It could easily be sold to a local person that was born and raised here, and maybe they've inherited some money because grandma passed away and sold their place. I noticed our guests just came in here.
Yeah, they did. Absolutely, they're greeting themselves currently.
That's okay. That's fine. Yes. We're good. We'll keep plugging away. So, but Joe, it's a very, very luxurious home. It's in a great location, wonderful school catchment. You've got every major, all the private schools. My children went to school on the west side, so my children went to Little Flower Academy and Vancouver College, so I'm very familiar with, the quality of schools on the west side, the private schools. Crofton House is just down the road. St. George's is right here. Of course, when the kids go to university, they can live at home and go to university, UBC. It's a few minutes over to UBC. It's a really good location. I'm
Joe Leary with Mitch Drew from the RE/MAX Pro Group, Mitch Drew RE/MAX at Gmail. The home is 4775 Blenheim, Blenheim. You can go to 4775blenheim.ca to view this amazing property. This is the premiere episode of Fine Wines and Great Designs, broadcasting on BNN Bloomberg Radio 1410 AM, also at 103.5 FM, HD3. Now, Mitch, I want to ask you, because in my lifetime, I've bought and sold a couple of condos. And I remember the process of staging. And again, I'm not talking about fabulous properties. I'm just talking about like entry-level condos. But staging is so important. It's so important that when we're bringing people in through the home, and I had heard that you bake some cinnamon or, you have some vanilla extract in your oven just to give a nice aroma. You want to make sure the lighting is right, the mood is right. When you're dealing with fine designs such as this place at 4775 Blenheim, how do you stage this home? You talked about the way you enter the home.
I think the most important thing you want to do is you don't want to have too much clutter or too much that's getting in the way of the home. Because what happens when someone's touring a home, they're going to be looking at what their furniture looks like in the home. And I think what the owners of this home have done is they are living here. The kids are here. They've got 3 children. All bedrooms are full. It's a 4-bedroom house, so it's they're in the main master and then the 3 bedrooms. But I think what they've done is they've kept it fairly minimal in its look, because usually the first thing we do in any home, it doesn't matter whether it's, like you said, a $500,000 condo or $5 million house. The first thing we like to do is we like to bring in a staging consultant and just have a fresh set of eyes walk in, and they'll kind of pick up on some things. And there may be things that you have to deal with, and there may be some things that you don't have to deal with. Like, for example, it's okay to have a full garage. The garage here is full, by the way. They moved a lot of their stuff from the house when they tore it down to rebuild this one, is in the garage. The garage is open. I can show it. It's full of stuff. There's actually a car in there, plus a bunch of other things. But that's okay, because everyone gets that. They go, okay, we get this. In fact, their garage will probably be full when they move in, right? Yeah. But when it comes to, the bedrooms and the family room, you really want to keep things as minimal as possible. Not a lot of things on the kitchen counters, just so people can really experience the house. And I think when you toured the house moments ago, you really got to see the home.
Oh,
correct?
Absolutely,
yeah,
100%.
Clearly, yeah.
And I think also it's important because different people have different tastes. We're like kind of like fingerprints. Everybody has their own kind of take on things, but practical is important. I like modern. I mean, I'm not saying I couldn't live in a 1920-ish property in Shaughnessy. I'm not saying I couldn't do that, but from my mind's eye, this is the kind of place I want, because it's functional, it's practical, it's modern, it's hip, and it's well laid out, and it kind of works for what I want in a home, but everybody's a little bit different.
This is a great home, and in fact, I do co-list with one of the top Chinese agents at Remax, Tammy Jin. And the reason I mention that is because she has a tremendous connection in the Asian market, and she moves a lot of product. And the reason why we thought we'd partner on this, and I talked to Tammy about joining me, is because I knew that would be a large segment of the kind of the traffic that would be attracted to this price point, this level. At the same time, we've had a tremendous amount of interest and actually some offers, which we haven't accepted, but we had some offers come in from different types of people, again, local people, different ethnicities, This is a wonderful family home. It's an incredibly functional family home, close to great schools, and it works really well.
So I don't know if we've mentioned the basics, but let's give the basics. Sure. Square footage, property, lot size, bedrooms, bathrooms, etc. So
basically, we're talking about it's a lot that, excuse me, the lot is about just a little bit over 5,300 square feet. The floor area of the home is 3,700 square feet. So it's on the floor we're on now. The below floor is about 1,300. There's 1,100 on the upper, and then about 1,180 on the main floor. It's only a year old. It's 4 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms. There's 1 main fireplace. And to view it, again, go to the website. We've mentioned it a number of times. There's a wonderful, there's 2 ways to look at the video. There's a very high-end, professionally produced, kind of slick video that looks great.
You're downplaying it. It's beyond slick.
That's beautiful.
It's pretty cool.
That's great. Yeah. We were very, very pleased. Yeah. The photography we had was featured on the Remax Collection Facebook page last week worldwide. They took the photographs and pushed them around the world because they look so good, and the home looks so good.
Well, you can check out the house. It is at 4775 Blenheim, BLENHEIM.ca. Check it out. From Mitch Drew from the Remax Pro Group. You can contact Mitch Drew Remax at Gmail. This is the premiere episode of Fine Wines and Great Designs, broadcasting from 4775 Blenheim. We'll be featuring Cavallo Wines in the show. Cavallo, beautiful winery in Surrey. Mitch, I'm excited for you to try them because I think you're absolutely going to love them. We'll talk to Harry Van Hemmen, who is the publisher of Boulevard Magazine. And you've got it on BNN Bloomberg, 1410 AM, also in static-free HD at 103.5 FM HD3.